Rowing is a sport of beauty and grace, mental toughness and concentration, discipline, determination, physical strength, and endurance. What draws people, young and old, to this sport and keeps them rowing, sometimes for a lifetime?
It teaches a lot of lessons, I think, just about all aspects of life, as far as working together with other people go, dealing with problems, pushing past things, making goals, reaching to them, and yeah, it's something I don't think I can live without now.
Do you think you'd have an athletic pursuit?
Nothing with as much passion and dedication and as I've put into rowing. I think it's been a really nice outlet for me to have. It's a wonderful community, I think, especially for the juniors, because a lot of us don't go to school together. A lot of us don't see each other that often, but when we come to crew, we're all one huge team. It's an amazing support group. Rowing will definitely be a part of my life forever, I hope. I really am interested in collegiate rowing.
I think that's one of the cooler parts of crew is you're never perfect at the sport because there's always something that you can work on. Patience and probably learning to work with other people, like just to get this out of the boat. You learn to work with other people instead of just getting really angry really fast. You learn how to figure out what everyone else is trying to do. You get really close to your teammates and you get to know them really well and they become family to you.
Rowing is a lot different, especially from ballet, which I did directly before I came here to rowing, in that every time you go out on the water, you have to work for someone else. And you can't just be an individual. You have to match with other people, and you have to be synchronized. And every stroke is not your own, it belongs to the boat. At regionals last year, after my doubles race, a woman came up to me and she said that was really beautiful rowing. And I guess it made me think that rowing is really beautiful, and it's definitely an aesthetic as well as a sport, as well as a psychological experience. And whether I go to a college where rowing is a really competitive sport or not, I would like to row even if it's just a club sport. And oftentimes I don't just do rowing for the regattas and for the winning. I really enjoy it as a personal time for me to think and kind of relax. It's my stress release. And so after college, I'd like to take up rowing as one of my hobbies and continue it recreationally.
I like rowing because it's not a school sport, so it's a little bit separated from everybody. It's not the huge group where everybody knows about it. And I just think rowing has calmed me down. It really centered me more as a person. I know more about who I want to be and stuff like that because of it. You can't show off. If you're in a boat with people, it's the whole boat. It's not just about you. You can't be the best person in the boat. You can't be anything but the weakest person in the boat. You need to work together as one to make it one boat. And rowing is, it's really hard, but I love it. I think, I'm in so much better shape now that I started rowing, and I know that it's set a base for me, so I'll be in good shape for the rest of my life because it's something that I'm gonna always keep doing. And mentally, I think rowing's really centered me as a person, and I can have a really bad day at school and, have finals and be stressing out, and then just come and have a really good, strong row on the water, and I'm not mad anymore. It'll give me that little step to just focus. I hadn't gotten involved in oar. I don't know, I'd probably get in more trouble because I wouldn't have this to be like a rock, just all my closest friends are here, so I know that they're all a really good group of kids, and there's lots of other kids who don't have something like crew, don't have something that takes up a lot of their time that they can use to be proud of and stuff, and they ended up going off and partying and getting in a lot of trouble and stuff, and I think that I'm a better kid because I have something like this.
Before I was really quiet and kind of like a non-athletic kid, but then after rowing I actually lost a lot of weight and got in really good shape. Well, I just learned how to interact with people because before I wasn't really social and I didn't really talk with anybody, but now I've got more social at school because of rowing, and I have a lot more friends. Rowing, I just really liked it because everyone came together and worked for a common goal instead of just working separately. Well, physical, it's tough, but it's fun, and that's what I like about it because it's really tough. It's challenging mentally and physically. You got to focus on what you're doing, and then you also have to push yourself past what your normal limits are.
What would go with crew is people you meet, and just being busy in something, it helps you stay focused with school, and like the friends that you meet, like they're all really like good kids and stuff, and so it keeps you on track and in the right direction, I guess. And also being a coxswain, just kind of having that authority kind of, and just how you, like, I don't know, like take charge sort of under tough situations and stuff.
I wasn't sure of myself as just what I was going to do. Right now, I make a goal and I do it. It's made me mentally a lot tougher. I've made a lot of good ties here and I'm happy. I would be a very dull kid. Because of rowing and how in shape and how driven I've gotten, I am active in many other sports. If I can't row on a collegiate team, that's all right with me. There's plenty of clubs out there. I'd love to row in college.
Like you said, one of the fears that a parent has is making sure that kids are given opportunities to do things as they grow, and it help build their confidence. So as they grow and mature, that they're able to go out and as adults and face life. And my wife and I had always been a little concerned because he was just kind of a quiet young man, and he never seemed to have any passion. He just wanted to watch TV, play his video games. And then when he started rowing, we started seeing him change. He started developing friends. He started coming out of his shell. He started physically just started maturing. Rowing is a very physical sport. He jumped into it. He got in great shape. We watched his self-confidence just grow leaps and bounds. And we're still seeing it growing. Heather has helped kind of reinforce her athleticism. It's given her more friends. Expanded her friendships here in town. I think the group of kids we have in Orr that have come together are very accepting of each other, very open and helpful to each other, and very supportive.
Emotionally, Mal, she's always been an energetic person, and I was constantly getting calls from school, and Mallory did this, Mallory did that, and as soon as she started rowing, the phone calls stopped from school, the grades started going up, her attitude at home was more positive. It was, as a parent, it doesn't get any better than that. Some people never find a passion in life, and at an early age, if they can latch onto something that challenges them and they have a good time doing it, hey, that's great. I admire all of those kids. What they do at practice, they challenge themselves. They're learning life skills, perseverance, dedication, camaraderie. It's amazing to see them mature. It really is. I can't speak for all the kids, but I know Mallory and quite a few of them. I think this has been the best thing for them. What's interesting with rowing that I see is it's not just kids their age. There's such a diverse, from 13-year up to 63, 64 years old, and everything in between, and all of them have a common denominator. They all row. And the thing about rowing is there's no timeouts. It's no, you guys are gonna have to take it from here. I'm not feeling good today. Once you get going, you're in it, and you're in it to the end. And that's how I like to live my life. Is if I commit myself to something, I want to see it through, and that's definitely rowing. Orr is a big part of Mallory's life, and these are big important years. They're going to be good ones, and Orr will always be a part of her, and Orr is always going to see Mal down there. Watching a young club and growing and see them build a boathouse, she's going to take away a lot of not just memories of rowing, but watching the club grow, and she feels, like she's a big part of that.
And I think at the time, and I think still now, it's one of the few sports that you can walk on in college and compete at Division I level and have no prior experience whatsoever. And so that was a great thing for me. It's enriched my life tremendously. In high school, and even before that, I was very much a loner, and my family moved around a lot. And I had issues relating to teachers, relating to other kids, what they might call something like ADD now. I had behavior report cards sent home every day. It gave a lot of structure to my day. Most of my friends came from rowing. I was enrolled in the engineering program at Rutgers, and I didn't find a lot of people there who were simpatico, who didn't also drink too much and flunk out of engineering. So the rowing friends were a good influence in a sense, and that I could, do the engineering, and then for my social life and for my morning and evening practices, I had rowing, and I think that was about the best thing I did in college.
I've been rowing since about May of 2000. Prior to that, I rowed at the Naval Academy between 1958 and 1962. Well, I've acquired some boats and some very good friends. I met some very interesting people. I like the intensity and the concentration and the notions that go along with rowing, the camaraderie, the sportsmanship, and the sport itself. But mostly I've met a lot of really interesting people. Well, I began rowing in 1958 because I was at the Naval Academy and we were at some kind of an assembly, and the rowing coach and helpers were standing there and they were motioning people who were of suitable heights or appearance, probably those who didn't look as smart as the others or something, to come and row. So that's how I got started. And it was a lot of fun, actually, really interesting. But that was a really good experience.
Think you'll be rowing?
Well, as long as I can. Until I can't row.
So probably a good long time.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that, so we row today.
Now, see, there's a rowing metaphor.
It is a rowing metaphor.
Yeah.
We rowed this stroke today.
I'm a biologist with the U.S. Forest Service. I'm also a mother of one child who's 5, and I'm married, and I've been living here in Olympia. We moved here about 2.5 years ago, and this is my only extracurricular activity that I do outside of my family and my work. We were kayaking out here in the inlet, and we saw a group of 8 women boating, and they were just coming in, and there was just something that just told me I needed to sign up. I think it's made me kind of stop and breathe more. I mean, there's moments, I think, when we've kind of are on the water, especially this summer, when we've had a really hard workout and we've just stopped. And you're looking at across the inlet and the sun is going to start setting. And it's just, there's just a serenity, especially on a Sunday morning or Saturday mornings when we're rowing and there's no one else out there. It's just made me kind of slow down some more in my life. My husband has really noticed a difference in me in the year that I have been rowing. He has just seen that, physically I'm just stronger and I'm more energetic. I have always been an avid exerciser, but I came here for that first year and I didn't do much, and I was not meeting people and just kind of trying to fit into the community. And since I've joined the group, I've been feeling great, and my son is really excited about it. When he went out to head of the lake, he was out there cheering us along, and he was just so proud that I'm rowing. And that's been really inspirational for me to keep going, that it's okay to spend time for myself. I want to be able to continue doing this and balancing having a child and working, and with my family life, it's so important. I want to be able to balance this and continue. So I'm planning on doing this until I can't any longer. And what has really inspired me is seeing the women who are older than I, so dedicated to this, and they're just these Title IX, just great women who are just physically strong and in spirit and in body. And it's just so inspiring, and so you just want to emulate them and see yourself. I want to see myself in 10 or 15 years still doing this.
Love for the sport and the desire to share it with others was the inspiration that led a few dedicated individuals to nurture the sport in Olympia. A permanent home soon became part of the dream.
21 years ago, Olympia Area Rowing Association was begun by a group that included Mike Bond, Bill Kalanius, Don Law, Bill Cullen, Bill Collins, Judith Freeman, and yours truly. I served as the first board president. We moved from warehouse to warehouse, including one of the Port of Olympias. The city provided our Percival Landing dock space for the float that Fred Goldberg had donated to us. From this, you can see that the current partnership represented here of port, city, community donors, and OAR began 21 years ago. In 1998, a group that included me, Don Law, Dave Dittemore, Steve Wells, Bill Cullen, and Mike Bond bought a float, scrounged boats, arranged with the port for storage, launch, and float moorage space, began active juniors and masters programs, and competed. We've been guided by 4 presidents in OAR's modern era: Don Law, his second term, the energetic Janet Wesley, Bill Cullen, and Stuart Johnson.
It's not so much the starting them, you just get involved with them, you know. You want to row, so you find a place to row, and you find a place to row, you find the people, and then all of a sudden you want to make it grow. And I remember we put a 4 together one day, because Les was out there, and I think Don Law was in it, and John Sladek, and one other person. I don't remember who that other person was. It wasn't me, because I was in a single, but we had a 4 with a coxswain, and we rowed on Long Lake. And that was really the first crew that OAR ever had. I think every community should have a high school rowing team. Doesn't have to do anything with rowing. Forget rowing. They should have a rowing team. The benefits of rowing to high school kids are unbelievable.
And have you seen the Olympia boathouse?
Yeah, I saw it a couple weeks ago.
And so what?
Fantastic.
How did you feel when you saw it?
Oh, it was magnificent. I'd like to move it down to Vancouver, or just duplicate it. You can have it, but I won't duplicate it. But I think monumental to the development of a club. You don't need a fancy boathouse, and I was very pleased to see the effort that was put into the design of the boathouse. It's not an extravagant structure like some of the others have been that have been built in the last 10 years, yet it's very functional, and yet it fits the environment. Yeah, the boathouse is something tangible, and I think you'll just, the publicity from it, the whole having a boathouse and a place to meet, and I think that'll just help the growth of the club immensely.
I think the boathouse kind of just means like home to us, because we have the chain link fence and the blue box, which has kind of been our home. But I think something like this is just somewhere where everybody can go and meet up, and you can just show up here. I'm sure that there's going to be lots of times where I'm just going to drive over here, and there's going to be a bunch of other rowers here doing the same thing as I am. I think this is just the one place that all of us can just call home and have it be our place to come do our thing and be tight.
And now that we have a stable place for us to grow, I think that we'll actually be able to grow.
In practical terms, what it means to me as a coach and as a rower is that, number one, our equipment's not subject to being vandalized or damaged by the sun or blown over by the winds.
To have a boathouse, that we can call ours, that we can hang our banner there, kids can call home. I think it will allow us to move way above beyond what we've been able to do in the past. And then when kids graduate from high school, come home from college, for the summer, be able to see the boathouse and be able to come back. So instead of the old blue shipping container that's been moved around several times in the parking lot.
Helping us pay off this boathouse means a lot to not just OR as a club, but also to Olympia, because I think a lot of great things can happen from that. I mean, as a club, we've been working really hard, and we haven't even existed for very long, and we've grown, and I think that we really need this boathouse to continue growing. And
I feel like boats call, and the feeling of an early morning breeze on you is something that gets in your veins. Can't get rid of it. Rowing is always given more than it's taken. As much as you put in, you always get more out of it. Whether it's from the friendships or whatever. Yeah, rowing is not a taking sport, it's a giving sport.
We